mainstreetmediautah.com. And this is the Liberty Moms Show. I am your host, Elaine England. Liberty Moms are the original secretaries of defense. We are the real defenders of the home front. We are there when it comes to defending our families and our communities. I'm so happy to have you join us today. We're going to do a really quick training of the delegates. We just had our caucus meetings. We just ended our 2024 legislative session. We had these amazing caucus meetings where we were able to elect people to represent us in our neighborhoods and become delegates. And that is a really great process. It's amazing. The caucus convention system is absolutely amazing. And there's a lot of delegates that have never done this before. It's a little bit intimidating, very exciting, and not exactly sure exactly what to do. And so I thought we'd do a quick training today so that delegates, both county and state, would have an idea of what is ahead of them and how to best navigate this amazing opportunity and this great system. You know, our founding fathers, they could have chosen to create any kind of government. They studied governments, they studied history, they knew about all the different governments throughout history, but they chose not a democracy, they chose a republic. Why is that? Democracies do not last and they do not protect the rights of the individual. Democracies only protect the rights of the majority or the mob. They don't protect individual rights. And the founding fathers wanted every single person to have their rights protected. And so they created a republic where we elect our own people, ourselves. We elect each other to go represent us, not to govern over us, but to represent us. And another part of the republic is that we take an oath to uphold not what we want, not to uphold our conscience, but to uphold the Constitution. In Utah, we take an oath to uphold the U.S. Constitution, but we also take an oath to uphold the Utah Constitution. So everyone that is elected or holds a position of power must take the same oath, because that way they will sworn to God to uphold our Constitution. That's really an important part of the republic. The caucus convention system is a microcosm of the republic. It's totally the pattern. And that is why it's so great, is it allows us to elect representatives to go out and represent us. Can you imagine trying to vet every candidate who's running for office? There are over 60 candidates that are running for different positions, state and county. Wait, more than that, just saying in Davis County. So, where I live. So there's so many. How could anybody ever, like the majority of people or the masses, go and vet all those people? How, as a candidate, can you connect with all these hundreds of 3.4 billion people in the state of Utah, where all of them are voters? But a great many of them are, or eligible to be voters. How do you connect with all these people? It is impossible to. And so, in the public, we go to our neighborhood precincts. We elect people to represent us. We elect not elite people ourselves. We elect each other. We elect regular, ordinary people from our neighborhood to go to the caucus at the go to the and it's such a great honor. And it's such a great system. So you as a delegate have been trusted with this amazing responsibility. You want to make sure that you feel equipped and know exactly what you're doing. There's three responsibilities of a delegate. One is to attend the conventions. Very important. You must attend the conventions. But before you do that, it is essential to get prepared to go to convention. And that entails getting educated and vetting the candidates. So it is really, really important to vet the candidates, to know who they are, what they represent, what they really stand for, so that when you get to convention, you can vote with knowledge and with principle. And the third thing is to go back to your precinct and report. This gives you an excellent opportunity to get more people involved, to let them know why you voted how you did. So you get to educate them because you're the ones that went out and got educated and informed. Now you get to inform them. So there's three things: go to convention, vet the candidates, and return and report. Let your people that you represent know what's going on. Just like when we elect legislators and senators and congresspeople and governors, we want them to come back and talk to us and answer to us and tell us what they're doing. And it works the same for us as delegates. And so the vetting is such an important part. And I want to ask you this. Do you think that when you go meet the candidates, you look at them in the eye, you ask them the questions, you find out who they are and what they believe, are you going to make a better decision as to who should represent the party? Or do you think that the regular general populace, who's only going to be able to make that decision based on maybe some radio commercials or maybe a flyer or a postcard that they receive in the mail, who is going to make more principled decisions? Who is going to be more armed to be able to know who is more likely to adhere to our Constitution? Clearly someone who's been educated and who's been able to meet with the candidates. There's nothing like meeting them and really being able to have that conversation and feel their aura, their energy, kind of look them in the eye. That is very important. But I want you to know as a delegate that most candidates, people that are running, want to win. And if you want to win, you know that there are certain things you need to say. And one of them is that I'm a conservative. Every single piece of information that I ever receive from anybody running for the Republican ticket say I am conservative. Well, if they were all conservative, would we be in the mess that we are in our country and in our state? We would not be in debt. We would not be having some of the issues that we have if everyone was conservative. So I suppose that some people really believe that they are conservative. And I know for certain that some say they are and they're not. And so it's really important for you as the delegate to be able to vet and discover who is most aligned with our party platform and who's aligned with our Constitution. The beauty is the party platform and the Constitution are really aligned with each other. I can't find anything in the party platform that is not in the Constitution. They are totally aligned with each other. So that's why I'm a Republican. That's the beauty of it. The Republican platform is aligned with their Constitution. So keep in mind, here's something that you're going to want to ask. And anybody that's interested, I'm very happy to send you a list of suggested questions that you can kind of get you started, get you thinking, that can help you in vetting candidates. But one question I always like to ask is, what is the proper role of government? Because then you find out if they understand what their job is when they're running for an elected office. The proper role of government, according to the founding fathers, our Constitution, and our platform, the role of the government is to protect our rights, to protect our freedoms and liberties. It's not to control us. It's not to take care of us. It is to protect those rights from the government or from each other, from other people who might want to take our freedoms away. So that's a great question to start with. Another one is what sets them apart from other candidates. And what I always like to find out is, what have you done? If they say, well, I'm very pro-life, then I want to find out, what have they done to protect life? It's easy to say it. And I think everyone in the Republican Party is going to say they're pro-life because that is part of our platform. It's in the Constitution, Article 5, that we protect life and liberty and property ownership, but that is an important part. So find out what they have done to protect life, or whatever the issue is that you're asking them about, or that they are saying that they champion. What is their experience? Because anyone can say anything, but what we want to find out is, where are their fruits? What have they actually done for that particular principle? So I like to talk about principles, not just issues, but principles, because when someone is aligned principally with our platform, then you don't have to know every single issue. You know that they are going to vote aligned with our platform. So that is honestly the most important part of being a delegate, is vetting the candidates and finding out where they really believe, what they really stand for, and what they're really, really going to do. And so what I have a personal promise that I make to myself, or challenge, is to make sure that I visit every candidate at least 3 times in 3 different formats. I like to go to the meet and greets because I learn so much there. First of all, they're saying what they believe. I love it when they get asked questions from, a moderator That way we find out, how they compare with each other. It's really important. I also like the meet and greet where you get to talk to them more one-on-one and personally so that I can ask them the questions I want to. Plus, I learn a lot from listening to other delegates, what they ask and the response that they get. And then when I ask questions, I find that they learn from the questions that I ask. So it's really helpful to go to these meet and greets with other delegates because you learn from each other. We all have something to give each other. So that is really important that you have something to offer others and you will learn from other delegates as well when you go to these meet and greets. Another thing is a personal phone call or meeting them, having a cottage meeting. Invite several candidates to come to your home, invite other delegates to come. It's a little bit more intimate and a more maybe not one-on-one, but a small group. And that way, again, different audience. People tend to speak to the audience. They tend to speak to who is there. So this gives you a really good chance to hear them in a different light. A phone call is always really great. I prefer in person, but I still like a phone call because it's really important to when you're vetting candidates is to not say, this is what I believe. What do you believe? Because we have a tendency as human nature to kind of go along with what, if I tell somebody what I believe, then they're more in line or more likely to try to see more aligned with my beliefs because they're trying to get our vote. So it's really important when you do talk to a candidate is to not show your cards. Don't tell them where you stand. Find out where do they stand. I just want to know, where do you stand on pro-life? Where do you stand on the mutilation of teens or children's bodies? Where do you stand on that? Do you think that we should protect children against that, or do you think that that should just be open to anybody and everybody should do it? Just find out where they stand and then don't put your own spin on it. That way you're going to get a better, clearer picture, a better understanding of where they are. So like I say, I always try to meet every candidate at least 3 times if that's at all possible. I like to ask them what are the principles, because the principles give you so much guidance and really help you find out where the person actually really is in their mindset. So that's really important. And a person should be able to answer the question. If they say, well, it's kind of complex, it's kind of confusing, that's just another way of not answering your question. Questions are not hard to answer. Principles are pretty easy. Do you believe in gravity? Do you think if we don't believe in gravity, it will have less impact on us? Gravity is a principle. It's a law of the universe. Whether you believe in it or not, it works, and so do all other principles. They work regardless if you believe in them or if you don't. Okay, so I really am so thrilled. I want to say thank you so much for running and becoming a delegate, for taking that time. It is a big sacrifice. It's much more than going to one full day meeting a year. It is a big sacrifice because you're going to spend a lot of time with these different candidates and people running. Okay, what I want to do now is give you a more hands-on about the county convention and then the state convention. So it's very confusing because there's so many offices. So if you're a county delegate, you are going to be voting on county commissioners. You're going to be voting on county auditor, county recorder, county surveyor, county treasurer. You'll also be voting on your House of Representatives, who your representative will be in your area. And that's called a House district. And that's confusing. There's so many numbers. There's a precinct number, Senate number, House number, but you are going to be electing or deciding who will be representing the party on the primary ballot or the general ballot, who will be representing the Republicans on that ballot to represent you in the House of Representatives. So there's all those offices, including the local school board. So all of those will be things that you will be voting on at convention. So you want to go to convention, I thought, I'll just decide that morning. You want to go to convention having a very clear idea, having vet all these candidates, so you already know who you're going to vote for, and at least pretty narrowed down. That will really help you enjoy convention much more, and you will do a much better job. Now, of course, when you get to convention, you will want to go as early as possible. They will start at least by 7. The candidates will be there, the booths will be open, and you can go. If you haven't had a chance to connect with somebody, you can go and meet them there and ask the questions there. But my recommendation is as soon as you get to the county convention, the first thing you do is go in and get credentialed. Because the longer you wait, the longer the line is. So get there early, get there, go get credentialed, and then go to the booths and talk to people. Okay, now if you are a state delegate, there are still quite a few offices for the state. So you're going to be voting on who will be representing the Republican Party on the gubernatorial race. So as our governor, as the United States Senator, so that would be Mitt Romney. Senator Romney is not running, and so he's stepping down. So that's an open seat. So that's the Senate position that you will be voting on. So U.S. Senator, we have a lot of candidates that are running. It will be Attorney General, and that's a really super important position. State Auditor, State Treasurer. We only have one candidate, Marla Oaks, that's running this year as a State Treasurer. Our congressional district, so that will be you're in Congressional District 1, or you're in Congressional District 2, or you're in Congressional District 3, or you're in Congressional District 4. And all of those are up because they're 2-year terms. So every 2 years, every even year, you will be voting. If you're a delegate, a state delegate, you will be voting on congressional districts. And you will also possibly be voting for your state senator if the state Senate district crosses county lines. So some state senators are voted in the county, and because their entire district is in that county. But if the district crosses into 2 counties, then it has to happen at the state and done by state delegates. Now, also keep in mind, if that is the case for you, you will need to go early, even earlier than the convention starts, and you will go to a room where only that race will be happening. You will be able to hear from the candidates all running. They will be able to give a speech. You will go there and hear their speech, and you will cast the vote there, and that will happen before convention. So find out when you go to the meet and greets, people that are running, find out if you have any state offices that are not statewide. If they're not statewide, they're not going to be voted by all of the state delegates. They're only going to be voted for the state delegates in your district. So you'll want to find that out, and so that you'll know if you need to go there early or you don't. All right. So when you get to the convention, there's a few things that you're going to want to do. Even at the state convention, first thing I say, go get credentialed, and then find out if you have a breakout that you need to go to a separate election. Or if you don't, go meet with the candidates. And maybe if you've come to really like or align with the candidate, you might want to help them. You might want to help them distribute, materials, or help them, talk to other delegates and things like that. When you get to convention and the convention starts, it is very important to remember that everyone there is a volunteer. No one gets paid. This is not anyone's full-time job, and it's not going to run smoothly because you're dealing with a county convention, 200 to 2,500 delegates. At a state convention, it's about 4,000 delegates, masses of people. Things never run smoothly when you have masses of people. There's always glitches and things that happen. So be patient. These people are volunteers. They're human, and they're really have made sacrifices, and they've done a very good job and tried very hard to make things run very smoothly and to be very organized. But you're dealing with humans. Glitches happen. Things happen. So please go prepared to be patient and to be understanding, because that will make your experience a lot more positive. Things aren't going to just go smoothly. There's going to be some glitches. Things are going to take time. You're going to enjoy your experience so much more. Plan to spend the day. Tell your family, I'm not going to be back till it's past dark. Do not plan to get home early, because if you get home early, wonderful. Nobody's disappointed. But know that could very well take all day long. So do not expect to get done. That will also help your experience be a lot better. So when you go credential, they're going to look for your ID. Be sure to take your ID with you, because they cannot credential you without knowing who you are. Do you want someone else to go and vote in your place? No, you do not. And neither do they. So that way they know who you are. They know that you have been elected. You have been duly elected in your neighborhood at your caucus meeting, and that you get to vote. So they're going to put a wristband on your wrist. And that is because the only people with the wristband can vote. because it is open to the public. You're going to have media there. Anybody that wants to, your spouse or your kids, you might want to take some of your older teenagers and let them experience the Republic and get a chance to get involved and see what it's like and get excited about it. It's very important. It's open to the public, so anyone can go, but only you as a delegate can vote. Only delegates. So that's why you need a credential, and that's why you need to have a wristband. They'll also give you a program so you know what the program is. Okay, in the meeting, we use a thing called Robert's Rules. And the reason we use Robert rules is because we want to have decorum and we want to have no fights break out because this is really emotional. We care so much. I care so much about my freedom, my liberty. I care so much about yours. I want to be sure I care. I matter. So I can get passionate. Everyone else can, but we want to be sure we don't break out any fist fights and that there's, no problems. Have you ever seen the House of Parliaments in session? That is why we have Robert's rules because it get really kind of entertaining, but kind of out of control sometimes. So the Robert's rules really help to keep decorum. So there's these rules, a process that we use. And so you'll notice when you read your program, which hopefully you'll read it long before you get there because you'll get it in the mail. But when you look at it, it will have the outline. So a lot of delegates, because we're Republicans, we're not Stepford citizens, we're not ditto people. We are free thinkers. We are very think out of the box. We all have, we're creative and we have our own ideas and we're passionate about them. And so with Robert's rules, you're going to have people that will want to go up to the podium and want to speak. They might ask a clarifying question, which you should know. If you don't understand something and someone sitting next to you doesn't know the answer to it, you have every right to go up to the podium and say, I would like to ask a clarifying question. You will need to say who you are and where you're from, and then identify yourself so they all know that you're a delegate, because you can't do that unless you're a delegate. Then you can ask your clarifying question, or you might propose something. We will be covering resolutions. We might be covering some amendments to our Constitution or to our C&B bylaws. There can be these changes, and I've never been to a convention where we didn't make these changes or propose them. And so you want to be familiar with them, but that's what's going to happen at convention. You're going to have an opportunity to vote on those things, and people that are passionate about this they'll be wanting to change the layout. People will go up and say, I want to change the order of the convention, of the agenda. Plan on it. It happens, I swear, almost every single time. I think every time. So plan on it. And so then, just be patient and listen why they want to change it. And then you get to decide if you vote with them or vote against changing that. Let's be respectful of each other. We all have different ideas. One of the other ones, and you can count on this, is the way we vote. So there are people who actually don't think we should vote on machines. They don't think we should vote on a phone or vote on a machine because how do you audit that? You can't audit it. And people believe that it's faster on a machine. I personally am not one of those people because I've counted the votes and I found we spend a lot of time checking the machines and seeing if they work. And you have to check and check. And honestly, it takes a long time, so often usually about an hour and a half. I mean, maybe shorter, but the last time it was an hour and a half just to check and get to the machines. There's always technology is amazing and it's also frustrating. Sometimes it works and sometimes it's not so great. And so the old-fashioned paper ballot, you just have a ton of volunteers, you vote by that, and then you have all the candidates can watch and make sure everything's legitimate. Then you can audit it and it's accurate. Sometimes it's faster, sometimes it's not faster, depending on how many volunteers you have to help count them, and how many glitches you have with the technology. But that will come up, and so be prepared with, if you want to just keep using machines, or if you think maybe we should go back to the old-fashioned paper ballot. I respect whatever you decide. I'm not telling you what to do there, but I do love paper ballots. I love easy to audit, it's accurate. No one is questioning the outcome of the elections. What I found is since we've been using machines, there's always someone who is questioning the election. and you can't audit machines. So there's really no way to really prove that it's right. We get used to it, we kind of accept it. But if you don't want to have any questions about the outcome, that's the only safe way to do it. But you get to decide. I'm not telling you what to do or how to vote. You get to decide how you want to do that. And I absolutely respect that, because that is the republic. We all get to go, we get educated, and we decide. Um, but those are some of the things that will come up on the agenda and that people will want to maybe tweak or make mention of. So um, there is an idea in my brain. I'm just trying to get it to come forward to me about that. So, okay, I wanted to let you know, watch your emails at least a week. I think they send it 2 weeks, but anyway, watch your emails, because you will receive a call to convention from the chair, from either your county chair or the state chair. You will receive a call to action, and that has so much good information in it. It tells you what time the convention starts. It tells you if you will have a Senate uh, um, election that will be early that you need to attend, and it'll tell you where to go. It will tell you where the convention is. It tells you all of that really good information. It will also have any resolutions that people are proposing. It will have a copy of the resolution, so you get to read it and digest it in advance. And then if you just like, I don't even get why we're doing this, then you can call somebody and you can ask them. You can call the sponsor. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. Get a feel for them, so that when you get to convention, you are educated, up to speed, you're prepared. That makes the convention go faster, and it makes it go smoother, because all those wrinkles have been worked out and all those questions have been answered in advance. And then if you don't like it or you want to make an amendment, you know exactly what you want to do, and you can get up there and do it. Or if you want to support it, you can support it. If you want to vote against it, you already know that. So that really makes things go smoother. So get your call to convention long before you go to convention. Read all those documents, any resolutions, any proposals to change the Constitution or the bylaws, all that is in there. And that really helps you be a very wise delegate. You're very, very well prepared, and you will, again, enjoy the convention much more when you are prepared and when you do that. So watch for that. If you have not received that, then you need to be calling your chair or the secretary and say, hey, I didn't get it yet. Another thing that I didn't mention that I should have mentioned is, if you're not already receiving calls and emails and texts from candidates, you need to call your secretary of the county or the party and let them know there's a problem, because you should be receiving phone calls, emails, texts from the candidates, because they want to talk to you. They want to reach out to you. They want to be your next representative. So they're reaching out to you. If you're not getting them, it's because your email or phone number got inputted into the system incorrectly for one reason or another. We're all human. It happens. Maybe they couldn't read your handwriting, some feedback there, and maybe it's because the person inputting in thousands of them made a little clerical error, because that can happen too. But make sure that the party has your information. And the reason the party needs your information is for this. They don't know who their members are if you don't give them your phone number and your email address. How can an organization know who's in their organization if they don't have your contact information? How can they keep you up to speed? How can they educate you? How can they tell you when the caucus is, and that you can take absentee ballots? You can send your absentee ballot if the party doesn't have your information. So please be sure that your party has that information. And you as a delegate, this is a really important part of what you can do as a delegate, is to help other people in the party that you represent get that information to the party. One other thing that I wanted to make you aware of is that you want to go prepared. You're going to be there all day. Take some water with you, because you don't want to get dehydrated. Take some snacks. There's usually food to buy. Usually the lines are kind of long. I'm a picky eater. I don't really like food that's not fit for human consumption. I want fresh, live food the way God made it. So sometimes they do have salads, but I couldn't count on it. And so I like to take some food with me that I like. So I have some snacks, and then I feel more energetic. I feel like my brain's alert. It just feels good. So take some snacks. I always like to take snacks to share. because I don't like to eat in front of people. So take some nice broccoli and cauliflower and carrot sticks and some nuts and some fruit. These are really great things to, you can take whatever you want. You can take candy if you want to, but take some food with you, so that some snacks, so that you've got something to keep you going all day. Makes the experience much nicer. Um, and water's always good too. Okay, I think, oh, the other thing I wanted to mention is this is a great time to carpool. One, there's two reasons to carpool too. One is when you carpool, it helps everybody get there earlier, faster, hopefully. It is so much fun to carpool with people. This can be kind of a social event. It gives you a chance to share with other delegates what you have learned. It gives them a chance to share with you what they have learned. So you can kind of do a little powwow while you're driving there and while you're driving home. Also, there's always parking issues wherever we are. So there's going to be less cars. If you take 4 people in your car, you've just taken 3 cars out of the parking lot. So do that. And it's a fun thing to do. Get together with other delegates and just say, invite them to ride with you to the ORS. If you need to ride with them, that works better, but carpool with them. And so those are my suggestions. I hope it's been super helpful. I want to just say to you how much I respect you and appreciate you for taking time to be a delegate, for making this sacrifice and honoring this amazing republic that we have, for honoring this caucus convention system, for letting these candidates know that you respect them and you respect the fact that they have taken the courage, spent the time and money to run. And so I hope that we will all be respectful of everyone who runs, even though we might very much disagree with them. And we do have people in our party who really don't belong in our party, but we can respect the fact that they have the courage to run, to throw their hat in. And what we can do as delegates is we can weed them out of our party. We can at least weed them out of representing us. And that is the way that we can take our party back, and how we can really have a strong republic is electing strong Republican representatives. So I want to thank you so much. And remember, you are the guardian of your liberty. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day.